Okay, sounds no good.
Check, check. 1, 2.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Can the chat? Can you guys hear us?
Oh man, there's a lot of people in the comments already.
Good to see you too, guys. We got a video playing. Obviously, sound is not coming through for whatever reason. So no sound on the video. All right. Welcome, everybody. We're just going to go ahead and start the chat. I'm not sure how to get that video audio to play, but the music is amazing. That is on Tell Me What You Love's channel on YouTube. I don't know if you guys ever checked them out. Tell Me What You Love's got some great videos. There's lots of cool content in there. Everything Flat Earth related, hoax related. But yeah, thanks for joining us. I'm here with FlatEarthBoxer.
Hello, what's up, Steve? It's been a long time since we've chatted. I'm excited to talk again.
Yep. Yeah. Decided to talk again. The original intention was for us to go live, but then we weren't sure if it was going to go down. So we kind of like meshed this together last minute just because we got so much to talk about. Seattle Green, what's up? Mr. Akil Will, what's up? Fred Carr, what's up? Good to see you guys. X-Globe 76. How you guys doing? Yeah, sorry about the sound not working for that video. This is my first time using StreamYard. So don't know too much about it. Don't know too much how it works. Apparently with this screen sharing thing, doesn't really give too much options on sound. Maybe you have to upgrade for that. I'm not sure. But yeah, we got a couple things to talk about, right, Boxer?
Yes, we do. We have thoughts. Well, it's not. I guess the reason I called for the conversation was it was in this chat that we're all in, called like a Flat Earth activist chat, and it includes you, me, Marilyn, Spirit Level, O Timothy. I think Zoom was in it, but I don't think he's checked in a long time. And the proposition was, I mean, we were all engaging in Flat Earth activism to varying degrees over the past year, and you know, at a certain point, there's only so much. You can only film the same 5 reactions that normies have over and over again so many times. So, but something dramatic has changed since we last chatted, since we last spoke, which is this COVID-19 thing, which has uprooted everyone's lives to some degree, and it's definitely changed the landscape for the work that we do. And on one level, but besides that, it probably, if we're, given that we're like Steve and I have in common, and also Marilyn and Timothy, is that we're all Christians. We're all believers in the Most High, the one contained in the Bible, and having conversations about that also from that lens would be good, I think.
Yeah,
I'm sure we all have thoughts on it.
Yeah, aka pandemic. I think most flat earthers are pretty much up to date with, you know, what's really going on with all this. I mean, we're already questioning the authority to begin with. So when this situation kind of presented itself, we've all just kind of been watching in awe how the world's gone, you know, bat crap crazy. No pun intended, or pun intended.
Bat, right? It came from bat.
Yeah.
Then they go from pangolins, which is like this sort of sand shrew type animal, which is, if you follow conspiracies by Hans, they're fake. There's no such thing as pangolins. Not penguins. Penguins might sort of be real. And I say sort of with like an asterisk. But like definitely pangolins aren't real.
That's pangolins.
Pangolins.
Pangolins. Got it.
Pangolins.
I like it. Mikey Smith, thanks for tuning in for a little bit. I know you're going to be heading to bed soon. Rancid Punks, Crypto, what's up, brother? Hope you're doing well. Teddy C, always a pleasure to see you. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been doing anything. Obviously, pandemic, scamdemic has kind of been at the forefront of everything, which brings us to one of our topics. I'm just going to go ahead and jump ahead forward since we're kind of already talking about it. Is how this has impacted activism, right, Boxer? Because it seems like it has impacted at least flat Earth activism, mainly because, well, 6 feet, right? You can only approach people so much.
Right.
The type of activism that probably is going to take its place is, from afar, from a distance. Maybe like large signs. Driving around in your car with a radio, a megaphone, talking to people. I don't know. I mean, the possibilities are kind of endless in that sense. And, some of these guys out here know what's up. Like, for instance, Mikey Smith, he's done activism on so many levels, like from calling major news stations to, museums, everywhere. Like, he'll straight up like call people out and ask them, real questions. So there are ways and there are means to do activism, obviously. The question is yeah, take it easy, Mikey. Thanks for stopping by, dude. The question is where are we going from here? We're supposed to be truthers, right? And right now, I'm working like crazy hours. I don't know about you guys. Some of you guys may be out of work. Some of you guys may be working. I know that's no excuse for not doing activism.
Like, it sort of is. You gotta provide for yourself. But I'm in a very privileged position where I don't have to work yet. I have had some insurance money come through because of the crash, and he's provided for my safety. And if I had to work through this, I'd be mad stressed.
Yeah, it's stressful. I don't know how it is for those of you who are working. I don't know how it is for you guys at work. What kind of rules they have in place? But I work at a package handling facility, and it's a little crazy. They got scanners. You walk in the door, and they scan you to see if you have a fever. You have to maintain social distancing, but somehow work next to people and interact with people. It just doesn't seem to work, and it just seems so ridiculous. And then all the while we have to wear a mask, and try working in a warehouse with loud machinery going off, and you got a muffled mask on, and you're trying to talk to somebody like this, and they're like, what, and you got to pull your mask off, and somebody's yelling at you, mask, put your mask on, and you put your mask on.
Is the staff actually afraid?
Yeah. Well, not all of them. We'll get to that. But then you have situations where, like, okay, they can't hear you, so you lean in a little closer, and then we got social distancing warriors, let's just call them that they'll come up to you and be like 6 feet, 6 feet, like literally, like it sounds ridiculous, but it is exactly that. They run at you
from social justice to social justice warriors to social distance warriors.
Yeah, like social. I call it social conditioning. So, yeah.
That's really the next step of social justice, because the great virtue of social justice is social tolerance. And tolerance was like, you must accept everything that the other person does. But in order to accept everything the other person does, you have to keep a certain like distance away from them in order to like for example, if I understood just like what certain lifestyles were really like intimately, but yeah. I would, when I was liberal, I think I would have been disgusted by them more quickly. But I was able to, or for example, like Islam or like other religions, if I knew what they were really like, I would have had a less tolerant opinion of their lifestyle, of their vantage point and points of view. Like for social justice to work, you have to have a certain amount of distance from the other that you're tolerating. That means so, and then the next step of social tolerance, of social justice, is literal social distance. in order to protect one another from our mutual contagions, we have to literally physically stay separately, far away from one another.
And what's next is what? Social policing?
Oh man. Social abstraction.
Yep.
Social digitization. That's next.
Yep. Yeah, it's such a joke.
Social credit scores. That's what's next. Social credit scores. Social accounting.
So it's such a joke because, I mean, nobody's looking into anything. They're just watching the news every day, scared half to death, freaking out. Everybody's on edge. People are literally like coming apart at the seams, but playing it cool. You know, it's insane. You know, and then you hear stories about, oh, you know, like, you know, this many more people are dying. It's crazy, and these stupid people that are, you know, they're out there. You know, like the people in Texas and, you know, people in other places, they're out there doing activism, speaking up about this COVID lockdown is a freaking joke and how it's just ruining the economy and hurting all these, you know, poor people are starving. And they're like, oh, those people, so selfish. They're so selfish. Like all they're thinking about is themselves. It's like, no, they're fighting for your rights. They're fighting for those people who are starving to death. You are fighting the people who are getting mad about that. They're the ones being selfish. They're so scared and terrified about this whole thing. They want everybody to just go away so that they can feel comfortable again. You know, they just want everybody to shut up. And if they would just stay inside a little longer, we would all be fine. But no, they have to go out. And that's why we have to lock this down a lot longer. And you know, this and this and that. And it's such a cop out.
It's because they're afraid of dying. They're
afraid of dying. Yeah. It's their fear of this disease that's creating the issue, and they're getting mad at the people who are speaking up, trying to end the issue.
Right.
And it's like, don't you guys get it? Like, and it's literally, like, I've seen so many people comment like 10 minutes of research, literally 10 minutes of research. It's not, nobody's asking them to go out and spend hours looking upon this and looking upon that. Just go to the CDC website, pull up the stats, do a little bit of math, and that's it. That's literally it. It took me like a few minutes to just prove my point on many a times in conversations with people. They say, oh, well, you don't know how widespread. I'm like, look at these numbers. Does this justify the means? Does this justify what we're going through? Oh, well, that's because of social distancing. I was like, oh, really? Well, look at the numbers for the flu. Look at the numbers for all these other diseases. And now look at the numbers of suicide. Now look at the numbers for depression. Now look at the number, all that stuff spiking up. So does it ends justify the means? Like, more people are dying. Just as many people are going to die regardless. It's just going to swap over to this, swap over to that. They're going to deduct from this. They're going to add it to that. And then just looking into the doctors speaking up about COVID deaths, you know, that's where it just really gets obvious, where hospitals are being paid to report COVID deaths. And nobody's isolating no freaking virus. They're checking DNA, RNA sequence. They're doing literal.
You can't isolate a virus.
Yeah, they're just checking for lung infections, and they're like, COVID, done.
Viruses, you know, what's funny? Viruses are the shape. If you look up what a virus looks like, they say it looks like the Apollo 11 lunar lander.
Yeah, I know which ones you're talking about. They look like little robots with legs, you know, like.
So they just stack a lot. So what they look like is a thing that never happened.
Like a cartoon.
Yeah.
My favorite meme on Instagram right now is, it's like it has pictures of viruses and it's like cartoons, and it has pictures of the Earth and it's like all cartoons.
Right.
This is all you have is cartoons.
Virus world is just outer space, but microscopic.
Yep, inner space and outer space, both fake. Total bull crap.
The more what I realized from I have friends from my old world, from the old life I used to live in, and I have one friend who's kind of in between those two worlds. And I found, and he shows me like their profiles of things that they post. What I find is that the more wicked a person was that I remember, and the more straight antagonistic to things godly that they were, the more afraid that they are, and more contemptuous they are of those who aren't afraid. And you know, I started thinking about it. But I think the more afraid they're afraid. And it seems to be there must be some rational basis for it, because there's consistency. Like, the more antagonistic God they were, the more afraid that they were. So it stands to reason that there's a good. I thought about it. Basically, they should be afraid, because if it's a real threat and they die, they're definitely going to hell. So they should be afraid of dying.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to go to hell if you die. So you better do, if anything could possibly kill you, you better stay away from it, because what's coming next for you is guaranteed bad.
Yep.
So the more, yeah, that's what I'm starting to notice. If you're evil, and the thing is, what I'm noticing then, therefore, is that the world's just full of evil people who should be afraid of death.
Yeah. It's totally bringing out like the truth, you know, the inner truths for everyone. You see where people's heads are at, you know, like the people who are like masking up and going through all these extra precautions and getting angry at other people who are not doing the same, not following suit. A lot. You know, it just says a lot about their character.
Yeah.
Because it you know, now don't get me wrong. All right, I'm just gonna bring it back a little bit. So, like I was speaking about my work, not everybody there is on 100% sheep mode. I have to say that some people in upper management, middle management, they know this is bunk. They know it. They admitted it. We've talked about it openly. The problem is the system's got its like fingernails and everything so deeply that we're literally there with our hands tied behind our back. I mean, aside from walking out the freaking door, right? So.
And because there's so few jobs, anyone is expendable. If anyone says, yeah, I think it's stupid, it's like, yeah, well, there's an entire ocean of
they will replace you.
Sellers who are hungry and afraid, who will do it for us.
Yep. Yep. And these essential jobs, I don't know if anybody's really noticing.
Why are they all dying?
Like perfect point. We actually were talking about that the other day at work. We're like, okay, let's be real. I got a guy who works for two package handling companies, all right? Two opposing companies. And he's like, one company, you know, like our company, strict measures. It's like prison state, you know? The other company, no measures, no implementation in place, people working side by side on top of each other, same as usual, business as usual, except probably even more so crowded just because of the volume, right? And he's like, if this was real, why aren't these people dropping dead? There should be like, you know, 10 to 15 people dropping dead a month while this is going on, or more so, you know, just because the high volume of people are working in this building, the statistics have to show some sort of fatality or people just going down with just some crazy sickness.
I'm impressed. You know, the fact that I'm impressed that even one human being did that level of reasoning, it points to the fact that so much of the pocket, like I'm impressed by what should be basic reason. Like, oh, okay, well, if it's dangerous, people who are dealing with people should die more. That's basic logical reasoning that almost no one is engaging in, which points to, I think it points to the error and the sort of optimism I see in people who I have friends who I have friends who are more woke, or when I hear this truism, like the people need to rise up and fight back and take back our freedoms from these people. And it's like, well, there's no we in this. There's no the people anymore. If the people can't do this level of basic reasoning, then it's appropriate that their freedoms be taken away from them, because what would they do with their freedom? They're voluntarily handing it over at this point. There's no we, the American people. There's just these people and us who aren't insane. Because if you're buying into it, you're helping everyone else be oppressed.
Yep, exactly.
And the way that the Bible says this pans out is that those people deliver us up to die. So the longer this illusion of the people need to rise up, blah, 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 and just like stop wasting that wind. That's where I'm at this point. I'm not trying, like the only rising up is up to heaven. And that's what I'm trying to wake people up at this point. For a while, I was thinking when it was first happening, I remember posting some grand posts like, the people, don't you understand? Don't you see? They're coming after us. And it's time for us to tell the government, stop. Like, there's no us. That's done. There's just my people, and your people is everybody. And my people is
that game. That game was lost so long ago. That game was lost long ago. Long ago. There's so many systems in place right now. I mean, I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy here, but let's just be real, right? Like, you know, if If going out on the streets and protesting was going to do anything, it would have made milestones by now to some degrees that we would have people naturally questioning things.
Bro, what the hell? People
Look how least, I mean, just the fact that people used to question everything and then question less and then question less and question less. Yeah, the smaller percentage of people who are speaking up, they're just the smaller percentage. I mean, yeah, you got Texas and you got all these other places that are in California or whatever, and they're all protesting and they're doing stuff and maybe they're making strides or whatever. But look across the entire world, right? Like, generally, people don't want you to bust that bubble. They want to keep things tight and secure. We're just so far along with this conditioning that it's kind of too late for a lot of these guys. Like, at this point, you need to get yourself right. You need to make sure that you're well. You need to be right with God. Like, you need to, like, get yourself figured out. And the other people, you can only do so much. You can try, but it is a choice. At this day and age, like they say, at this day and age, with information being literally at your fingertips, and you don't want to research or look into anything, it literally is a choice to be ignorant. It's you choose to be ignorant. That's my opinion. It's a choice.
And also, God chooses it too. God
That's
chooses
true.
to be ignorant as well.
Yeah.
This is Isaiah chapter 66, verse 4.
Strong delusion.
It's I'll start it in the middle of verse 3. It says, yea, they have chosen their own ways, and their soul delighteth in their abominations. I also, being God, I also will choose their delusions, and I will bring their fears upon them. Because when I called, none did answer, and when I spake, they did not hear, but they did evil before mine eyes, and chose that which I delighted not. He chooses this for them. Now, at a certain point, it's like, why am I struggling against God with these people? I know what the Bible says is going to happen to us. Either some of us, apparently, it says we'll be spared from the hour of temptation, the Church of Philadelphia, but maybe that means something else. There's debates about that. I'm not prepared for that argument. I don't think anyone wants to hear that 150-year-old discourse again. But like, the one thing that's for certain is that these people who fear for their lives and will take a mark will be the people to hang us. Yeah. And there's no turning back from it. If these people were given power, if you put any of these guys and any of these people who might even they called for protests in Arizona, and these people showed up. There's a bunch of boomers waving American flags, playing "I'm proud to be an American" over the speakers, rallying just around some senator saying, "I don't think this is the right way to handle this viral threat." And he was going, "Oh yeah, thank you for suggesting that this lockdown is unconstitutional while doing nothing about it." And even the protests are staged and devoid of any content. These people, the people who used to be like who are the radical questioners, like the anarchists or whatever, or the gun guys, or like the Second Amendment Oath Keeper type guys. Both of those people, both of those factions are at home. Both of them. You would think that the anarchists who are like pro-worker or whatever, like proletarian or something, those people who are into that vibe, you think they'd be breaking windows of the bourgeoisie who are getting all the sort of all the business administration loans and whatever. They'd be resentful of them. But as long as they get their $1,200 Trump bucks every month, they're willing to say everything's okay and that we need to stay home and stay safe. But these were the same people who were protesting over the Indian land with the oil pipeline that they hadn't heard of until that day.
Yeah,
they were bussing themselves over to help some Indians not have their land built on, get like a strip of land built on, as if these movements are from beginning to end, whether it be the Oath Keepers or the Bundy Ranch or these hoax event shootings and the gun right legislation. All of them, I'm not even starting to think. I'm persuaded at this point, 100%, that they're seeded by the government, and then the protesters are just brainwashed subtly into being useful idiots because there's no authentic protest movement. I don't think there ever really was.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly where it's at right now. That any sort of movement, any sort of quote unquote independent thought is not really independent thought anymore. It's all pre-designed, set up concepts that are implanted into the masses so that they can latch onto it, feel like they're making some sort of stride, but all they are is just pleasing themselves for the moment. Because later on, when things kind of switch up or the tune changes a little, oh, they're just back in step. No problem. We're back to normal. No need to get upset. No need to revolt. No need to change direction. We got normalcy again. And you better believe that they might even play that card. They might give us that little break, and then with the MK Ultra style, bam, hit us again with like, oh, well, now it's widespread. Now we gotta lock it down even more now.
Aliens, bro.
Aliens, man. Aliens. They're next. Get ready. It's just gonna get even crazier. And then everybody's gonna be like, well, look at the world, like, well, and they're gonna be like the universe, and they're just gonna hop on the next bandwagon because they've been conditioned to these alien folks have been conditioned to think about aliens all their life, and so now they're like, okay, now that's a reality. So now we have something to bite into. Now we got this, we got that. Life is changing. We're making a difference, and the world is opening up. And really, all that's happening is that net's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And then the more that they're switching the tune, just like it was all predetermined and pre-planned, the less of a choice, the less like personality they even have.
I'm messing with you. Okay. Dude, check this out. They literally dropped the UFO bomb through, and my friend and I, we were Dane. It doesn't matter if I say his name. My friend Dane and I, we were joking like a year ago about how crazy it was that they actually had Tom DeLonge, like this guy that we listened to in high school, be the one to drop to release the alien card. Because he's just some character in our lives who was a part of a formative. He's a musician who was a part of a formative stage in our lives in a band called Blink-182, and it's just so hokey. It's Donald Trump as president. He's the Idiocracy president, very corny, and then you have Blink-182, the member of a corny joke punk band, as the spokesperson for the alien agenda. Then you have Tom Hanks, the guy who was called to be the spokesperson for the COVID virus by The Simpsons. It's just that for Armageddon, this really is tacky and tasteless. I expected like flying cars and like clones and shit. This is gay. Sorry, this is just cheesy and weak.
Yeah.
It's Blink-182, a band that wrote an album called Enema of the State. That's giving us, that's the broadcaster of the Great Deception.
Yeah.
It's Satan's cheesy. We're not leaving behind some sort of like epic satanic kingdom. Satan's kingdom is weak and cheesy.
Yeah. Well, because that's all it's gonna take it's like whatever they're going to bite into, whatever they're willing and been conditioned to accept, that's the route it's going to go. You better believe, what they see the end times to be like, it's just going to play out pretty much like that. They're going to think that aliens are going to come down, make first contact. It's going to be like Independence Day. They'll probably take it in that direction. Or who knows? I mean, like, I'm not going to make assumptions. At this point, does it really matter? Like, I mean, it's either you start. I'm not saying I know what's going on. I'm not saying I know everything about what's going on. But either you start getting in grips with real reality and start focusing on truth rather than just buying into what you're being force-fed. What these people are being force-fed on a daily basis. Like. So here's another example. Like, you've heard about the moon landing thing, right? Like, they postponed the moon landing again. Like, they're like, oh, we were ready to go. We were ready. 10 more years. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Oh, COVID.
Oh no, I wonder what we'll do.
COVID. Sorry, guys. It's not gonna happen. But we were there. We had the technology. Remember when they said they lost the technology? Well, they found it. And I guarantee you, like, after that, somebody's gonna ask them to produce this technology, but we don't really have documentation on this technology. We don't really know, too much about what we were gonna do, but we did have a plan.
Here's something crazy.
Yeah.
This is called a Corona. Where is it? This one, yeah. This is called a Corona. This thing on your shirt and my shirt.
Yeah.
It's called a Corona. This wreath.
Mm-hmm.
Corona. Corona means crown, bro.
Yeah.
You know all this, right?
Yep.
Okay. Do you know that there was a corona over Babylon on Christmas of 2019 in the form of an eclipse
Oh, yes. Yes. I remember hearing about that.
from or someone else that's equally based?
Yeah.
Who
The
told you?
corona is the rays of the sun branching out behind the moon.
Behind the eclipse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's an eclipse over on Christmas or whatever you want to call that, Nimrod's birthday. There's an eclipse over Babylon. Let's see if I can find a picture. There's an eclipse over about more like the UAE to be precise, Abu Dhabi. I'm going to go here, see if I can just pull it up. And it's a man on a white horse. Well, it's a man on a horse, more precisely, and he has a bow and a corona, and then there's an eclipse over his head, and there's a corona. Is my screen share on?
Not yet. If you start it up, I can add it to the stream.
Share my entire share application window. StreamYard, bam, go. Cool.
All right. You want me to add it to stream?
Yeah.
Okay. Oops, not that one.
Why not?
There you go. Oh, we'll put it like that. Okay. There you go.
Let's see. Yeah, it's loading slow, I think. We should be good. Okay, cool. I'm going to go to this thing. It's arguable that I should have had this set up already, but I pray you'll forgive me.
We're good, man.
So yeah, there's if you go to Revelation chapter 6.
Yeah, I haven't watched this video yet, too. I was going to, like I said, I was telling you, I was going to watch it in the morning on my way to work.
Yeah, you should have watched it way earlier, man. I'm holding this against you. I'm messing with you.
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Put blood, sweat, and tears into it. Okay, this is you see this? This is a man on a horse.
Yeah.
I should make it bigger for the people.
The
people.
There you go.
Is that working?
Yep. Just taking a minute to load.
Okay. Okay, so it's a man on a horse, and there's Jupiter on his head, and then it creates a corona solar eclipse because I had to move it off the left a little bit so you could see it. So it's Jupiter. There's a solar corona at the head of this guy with a bow, and Saturn, i.e. Satan or Remphan, also Kiyun, is at his back during this thing, and Mercury is at the bow, and Mercury is like the messenger, deliverer god, and you know what I'm saying. I don't actually think that, obviously. If you use a different software, it shows that there's a thing called a constellation called Corona Borealis right at the middle of it. So there's a solar corona eclipse. There's Saturn at his back, and then there's Mercury at the bow. And if you read Revelation chapter 6, and this is the first seal of Revelation, it says, "And I saw and behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering unto conquer." And that was the first seal. So and also, the UN flag is a corona, and I don't know. I don't want to beat up.
Did you see the new? It's the WHO symbol or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a serpent in the middle of a.
Yeah, they took out the flat Earth map now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like, man, maybe I should look for a picture of it. Let's see. WHO logo.
What'd you get?
And I search it, and all I get is Doctor Who references. I'll just type out World Health Organization.
What flavor?
Papaya.
Papaya?
Papaya. Dragon fruit.
Yeah, it says, and the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of four beasts saying, "Come and see." Then I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow.
Yeah.
And he took a crown and went forth to just slay.
Huh.
As they say.
Well, I could have sworn I saw it somewhere. I'm not actually seeing it, so maybe I was false on that claim. I'll have to look more into it. But yeah.
So if there's an alien invasion and then some microchip stuff and then some Mark of the Beast, whatever,
Yeah.
that should happen around this time next year. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if I had like $1 million, I bet everything on that.
Slide it on the table.
Like, if you have $1 million, you can just put out
Monopoly money, if that. Yeah. No, yeah. Man.
Anyone in the chat got $1 million?
So, okay, let's move on to greener pastures here, because I don't want to get too frustrated and worked up here, but
okay.
So well, I guess it's not much greener. Look, what is it like out by you? Like,
Arizona's pretty nice, quite frankly, if you want to go to greener pastures, even though it's a desert and it's really hot. Chicago seems like it sucks. You're also in a very urban and diverse environment. Arizona is pretty much just white people and some Mexicans, and it's pretty straightforward that way. It's not like you have to worry about your neighbor. You don't have to worry about like if there's a collapse, there's like a race war scenario, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Just the government is just making really strong suggestions and very softly closing off the parks and turning a blind eye if you decide to walk around inside the parks. Even if you just took down the tape, no one really says anything. So it's pretty nice.
Huh.
The weather is great. It's getting hot. The church.
How is it? Like shopping wise, like how are the stores right now? Are
they're mostly shut down except for like. Well, I mean, I saw that an ATV equipment store is still open. So I think like businesses that are run by their owners that can afford to pay themselves to just sit are doing fine. Like I train Muay Thai, all the gyms are shut down. And that's hurting people pretty bad. People who, that sucks for them. So business-wise, it's as bad as everywhere else, more or less.
Yeah.
As far as restrictions put on people, not so bad. Like no cops are. The executive order literally says it's not enforceable within the executive order.
Huh. Yeah. It's similar here. It's weird. It's like obviously there's no like laws that have been passed that like say like you must not do this per se. It's just like this suggestive tone where it's like assumed that it is a law, but it's not. Like essential workers are allowed to drive from point A to point B, and yet people are just driving everywhere and doing everything normally, and there's really no consistency there. And then you got the social policing, like people saying, well, don't go to your friend's house. Like, oh, I'm planning to go take a drive. Don't do that. You're not allowed to do that. Like, the heck I am. I can do whatever I want. I'm still a free person at this point, at least to some degree. So it's like, I still visit my friends, friend. There's only one person I can visit, and that's FlatEarth City. So, but me and my wife go over there. We play cards. We hang out. We eat. Talk about recent times. And then I tell my friends this, and they get all uptight about it. Like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. And, the stores over here, they're obviously, just as bat crap zany as it is everywhere else, where you got to stand 6 feet. Now they're talking about enforcing like where you must wear a mask to enter stores. They haven't really done it yet. It's just been people giving you dirty looks if you don't. And I actually enjoy it. I don't wear a mask, and they get upset, and I'm just like, that's your problem. Like, but, I mean, aside from that, Pritzker just said, he was talking about, we were supposed to go back to work apparently by May 1st. And then now it's pushed back to the middle of May. And obviously it's obvious that it might even go to the end of May. I mean, the end of, May. So, I'm not really like expecting anything to change right this moment.
How are they handling rent over there?
For some people, pretty badly. Some people, okay. Some people are just like on rent.
What?
And build, It's not like, there's much in place as far as like the food banks and stuff like that. I work with a gentleman who volunteers at food banks, and he says it's messed up. The people are coming in there like full families, you know, starving, looking for food, and it breaks his heart. Like he couldn't do it anymore. Like
that's where the real war zone is. That's where the real crisis is at the food fairs and that.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. It's like I feel selfish because like I'm at work and I'm complaining on how it feels literally like a state-run prison, even though I still have my freedom technically. Whereas these people are literally starving, and they're not doing so hot. So I that's why I try not to like care about what I'm going through. So sorry if I sound like I was upset about it. It's just one of those things where like you get caught into like this is the situation, but then you look at these people and you're just like, dang man, like I am grateful that I can provide, you know, for me and my wife, but I don't know where this is going, obviously.
Oh, just we were just complaining.
Yeah.
Nice.
Complaining and speaking truth.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Where do you think this is going? What's I mean, we talk about the invasion, but let's talk near like close term, like you know, 2-3 months from now.
2 or 3 months from now, they might let people have a little bit of fun. They're gonna see because they need people to get back. They need to give people some hope and an opportunity to reset and reorganize and like start doing things as they did before under the assumption of more restrictions. And that's gonna give people insane amounts of busy work, whether they be administrators or they be business owners or whatever, and you know, middle management. And that's going to occupy people for 3 months. So as they try to navigate the chaos, their minds will be occupied with that.
Yeah.
So 3 months from then, April, May. I think they'll start at the end of May. So June, July, August, September. Okay. And then after September, you have maybe then they'll maybe open things up a little bit more in order to give people some normalcy leading up to Christmas. So October, November, December, then they'll then they have some sickness, and then they're gonna start in December. They're gonna start dealing with some alien shit. They're gonna start saying, oh, "We're getting signals. Oh man, it's the time."
They might even go into like, "Oh, COVID was created by aliens."
And all the flat earthers who were telling you just forget it, they were actually inside agents. And we need to either capture them or we all get raptured or something because we're like the most based Christians. Like we're just literally the best. All the other ones just aren't as good. I'm joking, but I'm serious. So they're going to get raptured. And then they're going to say, see, these were the alien commanders. The ones left behind are the ones designed to subvert us. All the normal Christians who are hypocritical and lame and they don't actually believe in it. And then they're going to start persecuting those Christians. They're like, no, our God's actually real. And then they'll get martyred. And then the Antichrist, well, that's after the Antichrist starts the mark of the beast stuff. It's just 3.5 years of hell and misery as God pours out his wrath on the earth for 3.5 years, rolling out the bowls and turning the sea into blood, just sending like wasps or something that burn and bite people and they can't sleep. And then after that, Jesus comes back. We're on some white horses. We're just slaughtering all the badness. And then we just rule and reign over the plebes for 1,000 years. And then they get pissed that we're ruling and reigning over them. And then they rebel with Satan. And then we just cut their heads off really bad. And then God kills them twice in front of all their friends and family. That's
short term, right?
That's what I did.
Oh, you left out the hills melting like wax and the stars falling from the sky, you know?
All that.
Yeah. Yeah, short term, of course. Yeah, you know, what about you guys out there? You flat earthers, you're listening to us. Well, we got 11 people watching. You know, maybe some of you might be trolls or whatever. Or
if you're trolls, start trolling.
Globe fanatics. But even still, like I know you guys are seeing what's going on in the world. Like, what's up? What are we doing, right? Like, and like I said before, like, you know, protesting. What is that going to do? I mean, what are we doing for ourselves, for our minds? Like, how are we changing the picture within, you know? And like you were saying, Boxer, like, is that even meant to be? You know, like spiritually wise, you know, like if God put out the strong delusion and he wants it to exist, the few that are awakened to some degree,
Yeah.
where are we at? You know?
I think there's something to that in Acts 22. No, maybe Acts 5. I mean, it's not directly related to it, but it's like if God is for a certain thing, like let's not get in the way of it. Lest we happily get in the way of the plans of God and we lose anyway. I think it's Acts 5:39. Could be
We
wrong.
have to be guided by the Holy Spirit, obviously. So
Right.
Where this goes from here is just going to just be dependent on that. I mean, we can't put our own mind and guide this because our minds are corrupted. They're corruptible and they're corrupted. We may be woke, quote unquote. I wouldn't even say I'm woke. You know, like we're all corrupted to some degree through influence, through personality, to idealism. You know, through so many levels. It's like I can't trust what's in here to change the world out there, you know? So we just got to put our faith in the creator and just let that take control, do our best to follow suit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that the best advice that we should be giving people, or that people should be giving themselves, that people should be thinking about?
The one thing I would regret the most if I get taken up, or if there's an end time scenario and then they shut down the internet or something, would be not telling as many people that about the mark of the beast as possible, at the risk of sounding crazy and at the risk of being wrong this time.
The satanic system.
Right. Yeah.
You know? At least point to it.
Not even in general, bro. Like at a certain level specifically, because if I'm wrong, okay, the mark of the beast doesn't come this time, and it's another 50 years of transgender space nonsense. Okay, maybe I was wrong this time, but like, if I'm right, I'm gonna really regret it. Like, if I'm not saying literally, because I was out flat earthing at this Open Up Arizona protest yesterday, and I ended up talking to a family, a witch. She's like a single mom and her 2 kids. And she didn't even know, she did not know that the mark of the beast was a biblical concept and that 666 pertained to something in the Bible. She had no idea. And had I not told her this, she's like, and she found it rather troubling because that means that she has to read the Bible, a book that she had never considered as being legitimate along with the flat earth. There's a number of things going on in the conversation. But if I didn't get straight to her and just said, listen, there's likely going to be a scenario in which they will encourage you to put a mark in your body in order to continue living in a way to function in society. And if you take it, you will go to hell and die forever. And if I don't articulate that to these people, I will severely regret it. And when the opportunity comes for them to make that decision.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. I mean, it says after judgment is passed, we're basically like we're gonna hear them screaming out for us. Why didn't you warn us?
Yeah.
Why didn't you say anything? And then we're gonna have to endure that while that's all going down. And that's, to me, that's a scary thought.
I don't care about them. What I do mind is Yah looking at me like that way and being like, why didn't you tell them? You could have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Them, okay, Yah's just. You're going to hell because Yah's good and they deserve it. Whereas Yah looking at me saying, you could have, it would have been more epic if you told them.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Lady Lacey, how you doing? Yeah, like what she's saying, the Bible talks more about hell than heaven. And it makes perfect sense if you think about it, because if you were trying to warn somebody of danger, or let's say health-wise, the ill health effects of such and such chemical, taking it orally, ingesting it, whatever, you don't tell them about how like not taking it is going to make you feel good. You tell them about how taking it is going to tear you up and, you know, cause all this pain. It's going to make you suffer. You're going to die a horrible death. Don't take this crap, you know? So it makes sense that the Bible would be focused on, hey, you're stuck in a system right now, this specific world that's created, this world that's ruled, you know, by Satan. Here are the dangers. Here are the issues. Here are the problems. Don't worry about, you know, what's to come, what's going to be good. The most important thing is watch out. Look out for this. Pay attention to that. So it makes sense that the Bible would be geared more towards that, in my opinion, you know? Yeah, man.
Makes sense. Well, I think that comprises the majority of the thoughts that I have on this topic.
Yeah.
What's Chicago? Sure, you says that Chicago is not required to do any of these things. You won't be arrested or prosecuted or cited for making any decisions which are contrary to the executive orders, which is good to hear.
Not at this moment, right? Yeah, it's sort of this loosely concept. I mean, they're still shutting down parks. They're opening up some stuff now. They said they're going to start a slow open is what they're calling it.
A sloping.
Yeah, a sloping.
New normal and a sloping.
But they're also telling people, like, don't get too comfortable because, you know, yada yada. This changes forever. You know, like, I mean, basically that's what the news is generating, right? It's like don't get too comfortable. You know, this is the new norm, is what they're saying, obviously. So.
Yeah, that's how it be.
Well, I just wanted to get this conversation rolling.
Cool.
We're probably not gonna.
I look forward to having it with like a Maryland Spirit Level and Timothy when he gets reliable.
I mean, we don't know. He could be like handling some serious stuff. So
in danger. I'm just messing with him.
Yeah, we love Tim. Yeah,
of course I do.
Oh, Timothy. Yeah, guys. So, you know, we're gonna kind of end it. We just wanted to kind of start a conversation. I know I haven't been doing videos in a long time. I made empty promises about getting back into things, and you know how life works.
Yeah, I do.
You get caught up. But where is it going to go from here? I don't know. But let's try to do this again. What do you say, Boxer? We'll get some more people involved.
Sounds good. I know where Marilyn is Lady Lacey show, but hopefully she'll be back soon. I'm curious to hear from Karen again too. So
yeah. And as far as like the physical steps that we should be taking, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what direction I want to go yet. I don't know if I want to do, you know, flat Earth activism, COVID activism, flat COVID activism.
Anytime I
even want to do activism, you know, like I don't know.
Anytime I'm on the street and I see there's like a lot of people in line, I make sure to yell, I think coronavirus is fake and gay, as loudly as possible.
Event 201. That's my favorite. Like, but people are like, what? I don't even know what that is. Yeah. I liked yours better. Yours rolled off the tongue a little bit more.
Yeah, people like when people call things gay now, because then they realize that they're not even allowed to say gay anymore too.
Oh yeah. Social stigmas. Yeah. Oh no. What are you doing? But yeah, guys, thanks for coming out. Thanks for joining us on this chat. We're at like 55 minutes. So it's like under an hour.
We did it. We hit the same time. We covered all the bases too. This is a successful live stream.
Yep.
Thank you for setting it up, and yeah, I'll see you soon.
Yeah. Later. All right. Much love, guys.
Cheers.
Until next time.